What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another Daily Deck Tech video, and I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm recording 9 of these in advance because my wife and I and our little girl are going to go visit the in-laws over in Michigan, and gotta have stuff set up because if you take a break on YouTube, it just like apparently guts your channel. But I digress. Today we have ourselves a special one. We have Aloy, Savior of Meridian. Now, I know I've done one on her before, but when those PlayStation cards first came out, those were some initial speculative brews. Some of them were a little bit too high in budget, so I wanted to bring it down a little bit. And so today we have Aloy, but only $200, which is, I would say, more reasonable than $500 to $600 to $700. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So Aloy is a 3/5 for 3 generic, a green and a blue, and has vigilance and reach. It's pretty nice already. And then in you, all things are possible. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack, discover X, where X is the greatest power among them. Okay. So we're going to have some big beefy artifact creatures. We're going to try to swing in, and we're going to discover, and then we're going to do fun things like that. So we have our first card. We have Karn, Sign of Urza. And I actually really love this card. I really do. Because its +1 is reveal the top 2 cards of your library. An opponent chooses one of them. Put that card in your hand. Exile the other one with a silver counter. You can neg 1 to put the card with the silver counter into on it from exile into your hand. Or, my favorite thing, you get to create a construct for 2. Create a 0/0 construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Not bad for 4, and I like the art. Now for our creatures. We have a Big Mother Mouser. This here is a 0/0 for 4. This creature enters with 2 1/1 counters on it. Whenever this creature attacks, double the number of 1/1 counters on it. So not bad. And whenever this creature dies, create a number of 1/1 colorless robot artifact creature tokens equal to the number of 1/1 counters on this creature. We do have ways to put counters on our creatures today, so this is going to be really useful if we can get this thing big chungus to just giving ourselves a whole bunch of little chunguses. We have Chieftain of the Foundry, which is other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. Chrome Dome. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+0. He's a 1/3 for 2. And you can pay 5, create a token that's a copy of another target artifact you control. It gains haste, and then sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. We have Copper Murray in here for a little bit of mana. Emery, Lurker of the Lock, affinity for artifacts. When she enters, mill 4, and you can choose an artifact card in your graveyard, and you may cast that card this turn by tapping her. Ethereum Sculptor makes your artifact spells cost 1 less. We have Foundry Inspector, makes your artifact spells cost 1 less. Same with Jorah's Familiar here. Historic spells, so legendary and artifact, cost 1 less to cast. We have Iron Spider Stark Upgrade. This is a 2/3 for 3, Vigilance, and you can tap it to put a 1/1 counter on each artifact creature and or vehicle you control. And you can pay 2, remove 2 1/1 counters from among artifacts you control to draw a card. Not too bad. He's like kind of a souped up Steel Overseer. Kappa Cannoneer, big old turtle with a cannon on his back. Improvise, which means improvise is just essentially convoke for artifacts. And then we have Ward 4, and whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Kappa Cannoneer, and it can't be blocked this turn. We have Krang, Utrom Warrior, which is a 9/9 for 9. Flying, Trample, Indestructible, and Haste. Other artifact creatures you control have flying, trample, indestructible, and haste. Big chungus. We have Master of Ethereum. Master of Ethereum's power and toughness are each equal to the number of artifacts you control. And other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. We have Momenon, the Right Hand, one of my favorite cards from Edge of Eternities. It has flying, and you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast artifact spells from the top of your library, and artifacts you control have tap, add a blue, spend this mana only to cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. We have Mer Battlesphere, an absolute classic here. It's a 4/7 for 7. This used to see Legacy play back in the day, friends. When Mer Battlesphere enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 colorless Mers, and when it attacks, you may tap X Mers. If you do, Mer Battlesphere gets plus X plus 0, and it deals X damage to target player or planeswalker it's attacking. Ornithopter of Paradise, flying, and then you can tap, add a mana of any color. We have Ovia, Automech Artisan, which is each creature that's attacking one or more of your opponents has trample. Hey, Krang, how's it going? And then you can tap a green and tap it. You may put a creature or vehicle from your hand onto the battlefield. If you put an artifact on the battlefield this way, you put 2/1/1 counters on it. Hey, Krang, how's it going? Yeah, pretty fun. We have ourselves Phyrexian Metamorph, one of my favorite cards in all of Magic the Gathering. It's a clone that you can pay a Phyrexian blue for. It copies an artifact or a creature on the battlefield, except it remains an artifact. Silver Mer, Mana Dork. Sad Robot here to get you basic land and to also draw you a card. We have Steel Overseer. You can tap him to put a 1/1 counter on each artifact creature you control. Thought Monitor is for 7, but it has affinity for artifacts. It's a 2/2, and when it enters, draw 2 cards. And then we have Verdurous Gearhulk. It's a 4/4 for 5 with some beautiful art on it. Trample, and when Verdurous Gearhulk enters the battlefield, distribute 4 1/1 counters among any number of target creatures you control. Sorceries. We have a lot of ramp in Cultivate, Kodamas Reach, Rampant Growth, and Sky Shroud Claim to help us get ramp up to play big spells. Thoughtcast, which has affinity for artifacts and draws you 2 cards. For instance, we have 1 more ramp spell in Entish Restoration. Then we have Aetherize, return all attacking creatures to their owner's hands. An Offer You Can't Refuse, Arcane Denial, Counterspell, and Negate for our counter magic. We have Desynchronization, which is return each non-land permanent that's not historic to its owner's hand. We have Pongify and Rapid Hybridization for a little bit of removal, and Return of the Wild Speaker, which gives you choose 1, draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. Hey, Krang, how's it going? And non-human creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn. For artifacts, we've got Arcane Signet, we got Felwar Stone, we've got Soul Ring, Talisman of Curiosity, and Simic Signet. For our basic mana rocks, we also have Commander Sphere in there. Sorry about that, forgot about him. We have a Solar Array, add 1 mana of any color, then your next artifact spell this turn against Sunburst, which it comes in with 1/1 counters. Equal the different colors of mana that you spend cast it. We have Biden Nathaso. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and then you can make it so creatures your opponents control attack this turn if able. We have Chimmel, the Inner Sun. Spells you control can't be countered, and at the beginning of your end step, discover 5. Cloud Key. When it enters, you name artifact, creature, enchantment, insert sorcery. Spells of the chosen type cost 1 less. Encroaching Mycosynth. It makes it so all non-land permanents you control are artifacts in addition to their other types. And the same is true for permanent spells you control and non-land permanent spell cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. Forsaken Monument, which is colorless creatures get +2/+2. Whenever you tap a permanent for colorless, add an additional colorless. And whenever you cast a colorless spell, gain 2 life. Insight Engine, it's a 3-drop. You pay 2, tap it, put a charge counter on it, draw a card for each charge counter. This can ramp up very quickly. The few times I've gotten to play this in my upgraded Kilo Apogee Mind precon, it has gotten out of control pretty fast. We have Nettle Cyst, which has Living Weapon, so it comes in equipped to a 0/0 Germ. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. Sculpting Steel comes in as a copy of another artifact. We have ourselves the Indomitable. Trample, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. You can crew 3 it to make it a 6/6, and then you may cast the Indomitable from your graveyard as long as you control 3 or more tapped pirates and or vehicles. You're not going to be able to cast it from your graveyard in this deck. We have Uthros, Research Craft. I really like this one too. It has Station at 3+. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, draw a card and put a charge counter on this spacecraft. And at 12+, it's 0/8 with flying. It gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. Enchantments, we have Efficient Construction. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Garruk's Uprising, this enchantment enters. If you control a creature power 4 or greater, draw a card. Creatures you control have trample, and whenever a creature you control power 4 or greater enters, draw a card. Mechanized Production. Enchant artifact creature you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of the enchanted artifact. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as one another, you win the game. you're probably not going to get to do that. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Monstrous Vortex, whenever you cast a creature spell with power 5 or greater, discover X, where X is that spell's mana value, and then up the Beanstalk. When it enters, when it enters the battlefield and whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, draw a card. Lands, we have a Vendo in here. A Vendo's pretty good. It's a Guy's Cradle we have at home. Once it gets to station 12, you can pay 1 green, tap it, add a mana for each for each creature you control. We have Uthros, which is Tolarian Academy we have at home. At station 12, you can tap a blue and tap it to add a blue for each artifact you control. We have Rogue's Passage, which makes something unblockable. We have Karn's Bastion for some proliferate. And then we have Urza's Mine, Urza's Tower, Urza's Power Plant, which if you have all 3 of them, Urza's Tower taps for 3 and the other 2 tap for 2. Otherwise, they just tap for 1 colorless mana. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Aloy seems pretty fun. I have yet to build her in paper. I've only gotten the 2 different Kratos built, and I'm about done with my Jin Sakai. And then I will probably move on to Aloy next. But as always, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to see your commander made into a deck tech, drop that in the comments down below. As always, I'm Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.